You are live.
Okay, good morning. It is 11 a.m. on October 9th, 2025, and I'm going to bring the Coastal Permit Administrator hearing to order. Clerk, do we have a determination of legal notice?
All items on the agenda have been properly noticed.
Perfect, thank you. So moving into agenda item 3, our regular calendar. Our first case on the agenda is CDP 2022-0042 for Jeffrey and Carolyn Duckham, and the applicant Michael Baron White. And our staff planner is Sandy Ariano. And Sandy, may I have your presentation, please?
Hi, good morning. I'm Sandy Ariano, staff planner, presenting Coastal Development Permit 2022-0042. I'd like to, or before I begin my presentation, I'd like to mention that condition of approval number 15 in the staff report will need a small revision. And this is due to a wording error. The last sentence of the condition should read, overall, BAI shall be consulted for alternate options and/or measures in relation to the construction of this project. Okay, and the owners and applicants, Dr. Jeffrey and Carolyn Duckham, are requesting a standard coastal development permit for several improvements to their property. Those improvements include converting an existing 645 square foot attached garage and porch into a workout gym with a half bathroom, constructing a new 576 square foot detached garage, adding a 6 by 44 foot long therapy pool surrounded by a 759 square foot fenced deck, which will extend their existing deck that currently sits about 30 inches above grade. And also installing a new propane tank and trash enclosure on the property. During the course of the project review, the removal of unpermitted rocks located within an existing drainage channel was also added to the project scope. This item is discussed in the staff report in the ESHA and other resources area, and it's also addressed under condition of approval number 9. This project site is located within the coastal zone, about 1 mile north of the Gualala Town Center on the west side of Big Gulch Road, roughly 500 of a mile from its intersection with South Highway 1. The property address is 47030 Big Gulch Road in Gualala, and the assessor's parcel number is 145-12115. This is one of 8 developed parcels located on a bluff top cul-de-sac overlooking the Pacific Ocean with a gentle slope down towards the bluff edge. In terms of land use, the general plan and zoning designation is rural residential, 5 acre minimum. The parcel is legally non-conforming in size at just under 1 acre. It's 0.86 acres. It's currently developed with a 2-story single-family home and an attached garage on the northeast side and an elevated deck with a hot tub on the south side, about 30 inches above grade. The property is served by public sewer and water provided by the local districts. Therefore, as proposed, the project conforms with principal permitted uses and development provisions of the RR land use classification, general plan, and RLCP. The proposed improvements are clustered around existing development and will not impact any environmentally sensitive habitat areas or ESHAs that were located on the site. And this is according to the biological report. Those ESHAs include coastal bluff scrub, Pacific weed grass meadow, and a seasonal wetland, which was man-made as a drainage channel during the construction of the main home. And these are all identified on figure A3 of the report, which is attachment J in the staff report packet. Mitigation measures, best management practices, and conditions of approval have been included to provide added protection to those sensitive areas within the conditions of approval as well of the staff report. I'd also like to add that this project was referred out to trustee agencies 2 different times during the first referral review process. The California Coastal Commission raised concerns with the original proposed location of the pool and the deck, which were only about 26 feet from the identified ESHA, but also flushed with the existing development on site, which is the house. In response, the applicant's agent, also architect, was able to redesign the plan and relocated the pool and the deck further to the southeast or toward the front of the residence, increasing the setback to over 60 feet. This new relocation was caused to re-refer the project out a second time to reviewing trustee agencies. That change also satisfied the Coastal Commission's concerns and the minimum 50-foot plus buffer reduction, which was also supported by California Department of Fish and Wildlife staff. On April 16th, 2025, County, Coastal Commission, and CDFW staff conducted a scheduled site visit to the Duckham parcel, which resulted in Coastal Commission and CDFW staff recommending the previously stated conditions of approval 9 and 10 in relation to the unpermitted rocks as proper maintenance on the on-site ESHA. Also during the review, both the Department of Environmental Health and the local water district raised some concerns about the pool maintenance and drainage. The applicant's agent provided responses, and the water district requested that a backflow prevention device meeting their requirements be installed, and that request was incorporated into condition of approval number 17 in the staff report. And lastly, with regard to the new proposed construction, I'd like to note that a thorough geotechnical report was prepared by BMI Inc., which provides conclusions and specific recommendations to ensure the stability and safety of the planned development. Staff determined that BMI's recommendations and procedural guidelines are essential to the success of this project, and as a result, condition of approval number 15 requires that BMI be retained to review the final grading and foundation plans and to provide periodic site observations during the construction. This concludes my summary of the project details and key review points during the project analysis and supported findings, and staff recommends the approval of this project with adopted conditions. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Sandy, for that presentation. And next, I'll look to see if we have representatives of the application that wish to provide comment on this item, and you can indicate so using the raise hand feature, which should be at the bottom of your screen. And we can pull you over to represent the application. Oh, there we go. All right. Perfect. We've brought you over. Please go ahead and unmute yourself, state your name for the record, and any comments you may have.
Hi, Julia. It's Michael Baron Wyke. I'm the project architect for this this addition to the Duckham's residence. And I just wanted to confirm that all the information that's supplied appears to be most current, and glad to see that it's finally proceeding towards an approval, hopefully.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for being here today. So next up, I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing and see if we have any members of the public that wish to speak on this item. If you would like to speak, please go ahead and use the raise hand feature, and I'll just note for the record that we have no members of the public in the room. So I'm seeing no hands being raised. So great, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing, bring it back to the Coastal Permit Administrator. So thank you to staff for the thorough staff report. And I do just want to confirm that I had the correct condition number. That was condition number 19 that you referenced at the beginning of your presentation, correcting the permit number. Was that correct?
It's actually condition of approval number 15. 15.
15. Okay. Thank you. And so with that, I will approve the project subject to the findings and conditions contained within the staff report with the correction to the permit number as provided by staff. So with that, the project is approved, and for the applicants, it is roughly about 30 days from today that all appeal periods would be concluded and you'd have an effective permit. So best of luck with your project. Okay, moving on to the next item on our agenda, we have case CDP 2023-0012 for Mark and Kathleen, I'm going to butcher this name, Bowl or Boulay, I apologize for that. Applicant and agent is Deborah Lennox, and our staff planner, Jesse Waldman. May I have your presentation, please?
Thank you and good morning to the CPA and all in attendance today. This is Jessie Waldman with Planning and Building Services, and today I'm presenting to you the Standard Coastal Development Permit number CDP 2023-0012. The request today is to construct an addition to the existing single-family residence, and the addition would include a new bathroom, deck, porch, entry, gates, hot tub with a slab, excuse me, and landscaping walls. The request would also include the replacement of the entry stairway, reconfiguring the existing landscaping walls and parking and fencing. And the project is located within the coastal zone, approximately 1.8 miles north of the town of Mendocino on the south side of Fern Drive. It's a county road. It's approximately 800 feet west of the intersection of Fern Drive and Point Cabrillo Drive. It's located at 45175 Fern Drive in Mendocino with an assessor's parcel number of 118,23057. The property is approximately 0.6 acres in size, and it is subject to the general plan classifications for rural residential with a 5-acre minimum with an alternate density of 1 acre minimum. Its zoning regulation is rural residential with a 5-acre minimum. And the parcel is developed with a single family residence. The project is appealable with the California Coastal Commission as it is west of the first public road. It's also within 100 feet of an ESHA. The environmental determination as a negative declaration has been drafted for this project. A few supplemental studies were developed, were submitted with this project, a biological scoping survey report, as well as an archaeological survey, and it did obtain a will serve letter from the Shorelands Road and Water District. Some restrictions on this site is there's a seasonal creek that runs through this property. The parcel is accessed from Fern Drive, and it crosses that seasonal creek area. And the residence is a permitted structure. It was developed within 100 feet of the ESHA, and the owners are wanting to permit a deck expansion at the parking area over their parking area. And that's what brings us here today. Some key notes on this site is the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. We conducted a site visit with CDFW, and they had concerns about the retention of preserving the waterways, and I will talk about that shortly. And I would like to say, I'm sorry about that. Okay. So staff has reviewed this project, and within the conditions recommended within the staff report in front of you, I wanted to just bring up a couple of items. The project is required to enforce the best management practices under condition number 13 and 14. They will be required to obtain an encroachment permit with the Mendocino County Department of Transportation should any improvements occur inside of the right-of-way on Fern Drive, excuse me. Due to the ESHA, avoidance measures are proposed under conditions 16, and I believe they're at 16, 17, and also 18 for site preparation and work that should be done within the dry seasons, and also how to prevent further impact to ESHAs. The applicants have been very patient and diligent about their lot coverage with respects to their driveway and the hard surface. There's lots of runoff that comes down on both sides, the north and the south of this property. If you were to look on the topography maps of the site, the drainage comes down from Fern Creek on the north and then adjacent parcels to the south, and it comes past the house into that seasonal drainage, and their driveway tends to flood in heavy winters. There will be some grading that is, and some driveway improvements that are going to be, that are proposed in this project. With CDFW's comments, there's going to be some trenching, and it's not exactly a French drain type system, but there's going to be junction boxes on the west and east side of the driveway closer to the house that are going to help retain the flow of water as it comes down their driveways and from their parking areas. They are going to have to orient a septic tank location to establish the new deck entrance to the second level of the residence. The site, the proposed project is consistent with lot coverage, setbacks, all other general plan and zoning regulations for this site specific. If it is done in accordance to the mitigation measures as proposed in the staff report, staff finds that this would be the least impactful and the most, the best beneficial to the existing development. And staff does recommend to approve the project as recommended. Staff has not received any public comment, and the project was posted to the state clearinghouse properly and has not received additional comments. And I believe that the architect and the landowners are present, and that should conclude my presentation.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jesse. I have no questions for you at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and look over to the applicant or agent and see if they would like to provide any comments at this stage before we open the public hearing. Oh, I see we have Deborah Lennox has raised her hand. So Deborah, we've brought you over here. Go ahead and unmute and state your comments.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I want to thank Jesse for doing a thorough job. This project has taken a long time, as many do. There were some staff changes, but she picked it up from the previous staff person and followed through on all of the agency comments and scheduled the meeting with CDFW. So I think that she did a really thorough job of exploring all of the mitigated negative deck requirements. And I've discussed it with Mark Bowley, is how you say their name, Mark and Kathleen. So they're good with all of these improvements to the driveway, which is, I think, where they're going to start on their first project. Will be probably in the spring because of the timing of the mitigations for not working past October 15th. We had a question which was about vesting, and I'm just wondering if starting with the driveway and the encroachment permit, if we don't need a building permit for that, I believe, but would that vest the CDP? That was a question that Mark had asked me to ask the staff while we were here. So other than that, we're available for any questions, and thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Deborah. And I see Jessie Waldman has raised her hand. So Jessie, please go ahead and respond to that question.
That's a great question. Thank you, Jessie Waldman, planner for Mendo County. That's a great question. And I would like to elaborate on that question just a little bit. I believe that there is an encroachment permit required with DOT specifically for work that's done in the right of way. The work that's proposed under this project at the driveway, specifically the drainage and the hard surfacing of the existing parking area, I believe that if that was a separate scope of work, because it's not in the right of way, that may require a grading permit with the building department. And I wanted to bring that up before maybe the CPA attempts to answer vesting questions, because if the encroachment permit, because the building department may require a grading permit for the grading that's outside of the encroachment right of way. And so just a little clarification right there. I'm not able to answer the question for the CPA about vesting without adding that information.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jesse, for that added clarification. So I'll say in terms of vesting for the coastal development permit, typically we'd like to see like depends on the scope of the overall project, typically when we're evaluating whether or not something would vest the permit. So, you know, typically we would encourage folks to do like maybe the driveway improvements plus an additional component of the project that was approved in order to find that it's vested. But it's probably something that we would want to look at a little bit further, and I want to look at the overall, you know, diving further into the overall scope. And we can have that conversation as well about that exact sort of point that would hit that vesting component. But that's generally been how the county has treated for driveway improvements is it's may not be sufficient to vest the permit. Usually we like to see one additional type of improvement that was covered underneath the permit to vest it. So, but that's certainly a conversation that we can continue to have with the applicant after today's action. And with that said, I do see that we have the applicant, the property owner has their hand raised, so I'm going to go ahead and bring him over, and please unmute yourself and provide your comments.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Boley, property owner at 45175 Fern Drive. And yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody for their time on this project and to get to the hearing today. It's very exciting for us. So really appreciative of that. And I definitely would love to sit down. I would guess I'd be with Jesse to continue that conversation of vesting. You know, when we worked with Deborah, you know, me and my wife just really wanted to put everything out there as far as our plans for the property. You know, the bathroom extension is kind of a dream. We may get to it soon, we may not, but that's, you know, something that we want to make sure we vest this permit just so that we can have it down the road if we decide to do something. But thank you all, I appreciate it.
Great, yeah, and I think certainly Jessie would be the appropriate contact to start with, and then she'll loop in the coastal permit administrator as necessary. So, okay, great. Thank you for your comments. Thank you both for being here today. So next, I'm going to open up the public hearing and see if we have any members of the public that wish to speak on this item, and you can indicate so by using the raised hand feature. And I'll just note for the record that we have no members of the public in the room. And I am seeing no hands being raised, so I will go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to the coastal permit administrator. So thank you to staff for the detailed staff report and attachments, initial study as well. I did want to make one edit to finding number 4, which is just, I think at the time that staff completed their report, we didn't yet have the state clearinghouse number for the mitigated negative declaration. So there's what looks like a placeholder there with some hash marks, and so I'd like to just revise finding 4 to replace those hash marks with the state clearinghouse number, which is 2025-08-1336. And with that, I will adopt the mitigated negative declaration and approve the project subject to the findings with that small modification to finding 4 and the conditions of approval that are within the staff report. And I wish you the best of luck with your project.
Thank you.
Okay, and to our last item on the agenda, we have case CDP 2025-0009 for the owner and applicant and agent, Caltrans, and our staff planner is Shelby Miller. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Coastal Permit Administrator, Project Planner, Shelby Miller here. The project request is a standard coastal development permit for a capital preventative maintenance project to upgrade and replace highway asphalt, guardrails, traffic striping, delineation of road or of the lanes, road signs, driveway and side road conforms, bridge approach transitions, install shoulder backing, and the placement of concrete vegetation control under guardrails. The location of the project is in the coastal zone along a 19-mile stretch of State Route 1, located between Post Mile 14.7, just north of the city of Point Arena, and Philo Greenwood Road at Post Mile 33.9. The project was referred to all applicable agencies, including the Coastal Commission and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, due to the proximity, or the project's proximity to the Point Arena mountain beaver habitat. And as such, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service did state that that Caltrans provided the programmatic letter of concurrence, and that the project is fully captured within this letter of concurrence as well. The noteworthy comment made from the Coastal Commission was regarding like shoreline access points, and to just basically make sure that the project would not disrupt any access to shoreline or beaches in the area. After some reviewing, the project does propose a staging area to be located at the Alder Creek Beach Road, and as such, staff added a condition of approval, number 18, to ensure that all access shall be maintained and available at all times during the construction and operation of the project. All other recommendations within like the biological study and the programmatic letter of concurrence has been added as conditions of approval as well. The project complies with the policies and provisions of the local coastal program and is categorically exempt from CEQA under section 15301, existing facilities, and staff recommends that the project is approved with the conditions, and I am available for any questions. Thank you, that is all.
Thank you, Shelby. And do we have a representative of the application available online that wishes to speak? Okay, great, I see. Please go ahead and unmute yourself and state your name for the record.
Hi, my name is Tony Simanovich. I am the Caltrans project manager for this project. Thanks for the summary, Mendocino Planning Group there. We have a staff here available for questions, and I don't have anything to add at this time.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for being here. So with that, I will go ahead and open the public hearing and see if we have any members of the public that wish to speak on this item. And you can indicate so by using the raised hand feature, and that will allow us to add you to the meeting. And I will note for the record that we have no members of the public in the room. And I am seeing no hands being raised, so I'm going to bring it back to the Coastal Permit Administrator. Thank you, staff, and thank you, Caltrans, for being here today. I've reviewed the staff report and the findings and recommended conditions, and I agree that the project's categorically exempt from CEQA, and I will approve the project subject to the findings and conditions as contained within the staff report. Okay. So that brings us to the end of our our regular calendar items. Moving on to agenda item number 4, do we have any matters from staff?
No, not at this time, thank you.
Okay, and agenda item number 5, matters from the public. The Coastal Permit Administrator welcomes participation in meetings. This item is limited to matters under the jurisdiction of the Coastal Permit Administrator, which are not on the posted agenda, and items which have not already been considered by the Coastal Permit Administrator. No action will be taken. If you wish to speak under matters from the public, please use the raise hand feature. And again, noting that there's no members of the public in the room. Seeing no hands raised, then I will adjourn the meeting at 11:28 a.m. Thank you all for being here.
I wasn't sure if members of the public were going to be like, I didn't receive the thing. So I was like, I have it.